Hey, hi, hello, what's up, Pirate Family? Now, I am coming directly from the Legacy channel. I guess if you're not on the Legacy channel, um, I think I was kind of sort of talking about it yesterday. Actually, I'm gonna redo this. If this energy comes up again, I'll talk about it. If it doesn't, I won't. I wanted to extend it off. I wanted to do like another one, but I was like, oh, like I'll save that one for the other side. This time, however, it's going to be different because I'm going to use this. Oh, wow, that was quick. Let's see what that is. It's no. I was going to say it's the King of Cups, but I'm pretty sure it's not the King of Raphael. I just saw him. The Two of Raphael is at the bottom of the deck, though. Two of Cups. We see these two horses. No, that's in a different deck. We see two people standing in the sunset with what could be a dove, but probably not, between them. Almost touching. Maybe that's the angel. Maybe that's Raphael. Where's Raphael? I feel like somebody orchestrating something. Like Spirit is orchestrating something, both in events and in like literally. Like Spirit is trying to create this hallmark moment, and it has the band just like ready to go, like start playing the music. Um, I want to see what's on this side and then the other side. Oh no, I'll read this first. It's the page of Raphael. Okay, I was like, it can't be the King of Raphael because I just saw the King of Raphael. It's the page of Raphael. What came to my mind immediately is like bringing water to a desolate land. And again, I guess it does kind of sort of go back to that energy of orchestration because not only is it like setting up, or like not only is it orchestrating the events that lead to the connection, but it's also orchestrating like the the environment, the music. It's like everything. It's like I'm gonna have those two meet up at sunset in this place when some traveling mariachis or something, I don't know, when a marching band or somebody is driving by playing the music or playing a song, they're gonna hear a song, they're gonna be in this space, they're gonna see each other, the sun is gonna be setting, it's gonna be gorgeous type of energy. But here with the page, it's that moment of hesitation. That's what this is. And it's almost like a flood warning or flood concerns. If the ground is too dry and it rains too much, it won't be able to take on all of it. It's like things don't just change miraculously quick enough to accept all of what comes. That's why typically when someone like wins the lottery, it's like a sudden drastic change that is not able to be sustained. Like maybe they'll have the money for a minute, but then within a few years it's like they're broke again. Or they spent all of the money. Um so I guess it can be an energy of not really knowing how to handle blessing, especially not the amount that like not necessarily being able to handle the season that you're about to come into or not feeling like it. And maybe it was in the past. Maybe it was like too many good things all at once and you just kind of sort of like short circuited or whatever. Or too many bad things all at once and you short circuited and then you go into that like rosy place that like, oh, everything is fine even though most things aren't. This is such a weird energy to be feeling over here. This is not what like I would expect this over there and that over here, but I think that's where we're starting. We're gonna do 3 cards, like a past, present, future. Show me the present energies. There we go. I don't know what that was, but I think it flipped over. Oh, if that's the 8 of Michael. It looked like Michael because it's dark blue. Oh wait, it's Raphael. Oh snap! It's the 8th. Okay, so we ready. We ready. All right. A positive new emotional experience. Look at that. Raphael then came all the way down. Raphael was like, look, I know things have been dry for a minute. Okay. I know things have been dry. I know that, sometimes you get a little bit of a good thing and you don't know how to act, you act like you ain't getting no act right because you don't know how to engage with this scenario, with this situation, the circumstance, the scenario. I don't know why I'm here in seminar. Maybe you attended a seminar or a webinar or something that helped frame your conscious beliefs, and how you approach life. Or maybe you've been looking at them online. I don't know. I don't even know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to somebody. See, okay, yeah, that also confirms for me because remember when I was saying like if the ground is too dry, like it's worrying about a flood. Well, Raphael then came all the way down, and she's flooded, girl. Um, and then what's the future energy? Because I just feel like in this space, nothing was able to take root. So it's like it's gonna take time for everything to be absorbed into the ground. When I first started the other live, I was getting the feeling of like creating and establishing a foundation when you weren't intending it or you didn't even know that you were creating the foundation for it. It's very much so this energy. Something came in and like we thought it washed everything out. And at that time it did. But as the water seeps into the ground, as the ground overcomes its initial limit of what it can absorb because it was so dry for so long, then it's going to create the perfect like garden bed. It's going to create the perfect conditions for growing something. And I was talking about how like muddy it is outside because the snow is melting, the ice is thawing, and how perfect it is for new seeds because you can plant a seed in mud and it doesn't have to struggle as hard to break through the ground. If it's drier, it has to push through like dry earth that does not. Earth already don't too much want to move, but at least wet earth will. Like mud balls. Mud ball fight. Do people have mud ball fights? Do people have mud fights? I know we have snowball fights. And then after you've established the roots as it's drying out, it creates the perfect foundation because it's like if you have a large tree and the ground, like if it's all muddy, if it all shifts and moves, then that's what would make it easier to sort of like topple over because the ground hasn't solidified around it. There's like a cement, there's a cementing energy here. It was being mixed here. It's being poured here and it's gonna be dried here. I'm feeling like Empress energy, Queen of Pentacles energy, like a very fertile energy. It was too much at one point, but it's not that you've necessarily gotten accustomed to it, but you realize how much you like it. Oh, well, look, there he is, the King of Raphael. Okay. I was like, I know that's not the King of Raphael, because, like, I was like, I'm feeling the energy of the King of Raphael, but I know that he's, like, I just picked him up off the table. Well, there's the king that came out. Apparently, I'm on it today. I don't know. with the Four of Ariel. The Four of Ariel, it's feeling like an energy of returning to whatever this space was. Or it's like we're ready for it now. It's like when you know you're ready for something, but you're still nervous because you don't know if the thing is ready for you because of whatever happened in the past type of energy. It's like if you applied for a job and you turned them down, but you want to go work for them again. It's like, oh, well, I would say don't cheat yourself out of trying just because you think whatever you're thinking. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Ariel. This is interesting because I saw the Three of Ariel earlier and it was feeling like the Eight. Or not feeling like the Eight. I love this energy. There's this like feminine and masculine working together energy in the Eight of Ariel that wasn't present in the Three. So in the Three, that was the masculine doing all the things that he needed to do within himself. Here in the Eight, we have the feminine there. And I think this, what's beautiful and what's perfect about this is you're creating and cultivating a space before you walk into it, right? It's like if you're moving in with someone, if you're moving in with someone and you have the money to make your dream home, you can both incorporate aspects of your dream homes together so you can have the same dream home. Or so like it'll be both of your dream homes. But if one person builds their dream home and then you move into it, could it be your dream home? Yeah, like y'all could have similar tastes or whatever. But it's like since that space is already established for them, you would be getting acclimated to that, acclimated to that space while they're sort of just naturally there. They're getting acclimated and acclimatized to you being in that space, sure, but not to the space itself. But here, it's like you're both building it from the ground up. And so it's like inherently something that's going to serve the both of you. I told y'all I felt like orchestrating something. Maybe. Oh, snap. Look at this. With the Six of Michael, Six of Swords energy behind it. Of course, that four of Raphael come out just like our little four Ariel right here. Look at him. I didn't expect this over here, but I mean, hey. And again, what's interesting is that like we see the dude who's kind of sort of made it, or at least better off than what we see she is. Maybe she ran away from home. Maybe she on a walk and she live in a whatever. It don't matter. It's how I'm seeing it right now. Because again, like there's the dude with Ariel. Here's the girl with Michael. Both at the four. And it looks like they're learning different lessons. Like they're experiencing that separation in a different sense. It's like maybe one person is in a space of like I have the ability to get everything that I want, but what I actually want. The other one feels a little malaise, feels a little lackadaisical. Like she could get up and have stuff, but she's just so like, but I don't want any of this. He already got it, or maybe he was working for it. I don't. I mean, going with the message of the Eight though, of Ariel, I don't know if he necessarily has it or if he's connected to somebody who got it. Because it feels like with the Four of Ariel and the King of Raphael, and especially with how well dressed that dude is, it almost feels like a prison of inheritance. Like, when you inherit someone's money or someone's home, you also inherit the expectations that they have. to go along with it. Whereas she's free to build whatever it is that she wants to build. And it's like in each other they see the thing that they want, but neither of them neither of them necessarily recognizes what it is that they already have. Like she could see all of this and be like, "Oh my gosh, like oops, wrong card, lol." Oh, the King of Michael is behind the Six of Michael. Okay, all right, all right. Loving that energy. King of Michael, Archangel Commander. All right, come through. It's like she would look at all that and be like, he's got this and he's got that. I don't have anything to offer. And he could be looking at her like, she's free. She's not bound to anything. She doesn't have a legacy or a name or an image to uphold. She can be whoever it is that she wants to be. Type of energy. And I guess that's just to say that they're both sort of in this space. And again, going back to the energy of orchestration, Ariel is telling it's like this dude is like, what can I say to like get her back? Or like, what can I say? Like, how do I open this conversation? And Ariel is like, girl, or dude, bro. Ariel's like, bro, listen up. This is what you do. You say this, you play that, invite them to this, talk about that, and then boom, bang, pow, you back in her heart. Because you never left. I mean, and then the Six of Michael moving into the King of Michael. And I love this King of Michael energy. Behind the King of Michael is the Eight of Michael, and I talked about doorways earlier. Because this is like the springest King of Swords energy I've ever seen. Usually the King of Swords, it's wintry, it's cold, it's desolate, ain't nothing growing. But not here. Not here. And that's what you're sailing to. And again, it's like this beautiful, like this is what this land has the capability to grow into. But it's going to require some like irrigation. Maybe some of the water you're going to have to drain. Or maybe it's like it flooded, but the flood waters can only accommodate a certain amount of growth. And the area that this is in, like it's dry for a reason. And so if you want to grow anything here, you're going to have to irrigate. You're going to have to bring the water to this land so you can plant crops. It's like Spirit has done everything that they needed to do. The rest is on you. And was it too much for the time? Probably, yeah. But in that flooding, in that inundation, it's also I'm gonna ask Siri to define it. Hey Siri, define deluge.
Delos means
Not Delos.
a small Greek island in the Aegean Sea, regarded as the center of the Cyclades, although it is now virtually uninhabited. It was considered to be sacred to Apollo in classical times, and according to legend, was the birthplace of Apollo and Artemis.
Apollo and Artemis, the twin gods. Twin goddess. Okay, I did not say Delos, but there's Delos energy, apparently. Deluge. Because it feels like a deluge. It's like a deluge type of energy, but it also diluted a lot of things. Like it washed out certain things. I think. Hold up, wait. Don't want to close that one. I need that one. I know it's like a lot of rain and it like floods, right? A severe flood is a deluge. Okay, yeah. It's that deluge type of energy, but for what it prepares you for what it gets you to see that you're capable of, that's why everything else is like Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups. after all of this, and again, with this Eight of Ariel energy at the bottom, it's something that you build, it's something that you work towards. And it feels like a lifelong passion project. Not to call anything a project necessarily. Woo! Not to call anything a project necessarily, but it's something that you continuously work on, right? The card that came out is a recent hot one, I guess. Oop, what his name is, I already forgot. Hasmed, Angel of Annihilation. It's like every time I use these cards now, Hasmed comes out. Hasmed it carries the energy of like us needing to eliminate what it is that we need to eliminate in our lives. We got to be the ones to do it. After this deluge, we can see now what won't take root, or we can see now what got washed out. We can see what sticks and what stays as the waters recede. And right now, it's very, very, very fertile for new beginnings. I think also maybe there were some seeds that we planted that we thought were dormant, or there were some seeds that we planted that were dormant. Maybe we didn't even plant them. There were seeds that were planted that were dormant. Because again, there's this energy of like creating and establishing a foundation for something, but you didn't know you were doing it at that time. But after the waters recede, it's like you notice stuff starting to pop up. You're like, oh wait, hold up. Who planted seeds out here? Maybe the waters brought something. Like that's how coconuts spread, right? You know, coconuts, they carry the seed for the coconut palm trees, and then they float down the river, and wherever they end up, boom, another coconut tree, palm tree. The water can also be bringing seeds. It just feels extremely fertile. And with the King of Raphael, it's about bringing almost a childlike joy and wonderment to it. And this energy has an understanding of not great emotional experiences and also spiritual separation. But this is like a new chapter. Like you would never know that the King of Raphael was the Four of Raphael, right? You definitely wouldn't know it. Let me stop. I'm sorry. Like you wouldn't know that the King of Raphael was ever that person, or ever went through those things, or ever had those experiences, because they become someone who just and they become that person because of Hasmed, because whatever doesn't serve them they annihilate, and after you annihilate the enemy you enjoy peace. Bottom of the deck is Uriel, Angel of Flame. Uriel means what? Flame of God. We got Uriel and then Ariel. I know some people say that like Uriel and Ariel are like kind of the same, or like Ariel is the feminine aspect of Uriel and Uriel is the masculine aspect of Ariel, or something like that. Just like how sometimes Gabriel can be a woman or Gabriel can be a man. The only one that's like always a man is Michael and Raphael. But Ariel / Uriel or Uriel and Gabriel or Gabriel, those are like fluid. Maybe, I mean, if those are fluid, I would assume that Raphael and Michael are also fluid. We just haven't seen or connected, or I don't know. I'm not gonna say we. Just because I don't know don't mean that don't nobody know somewhere. But it may be an aspect that hasn't been experienced yet because humanity is in a space of going there now. It's like Michael can't be anything but Michael if we always need Michael to be Michael and fight our battles for us. Maybe that's why Michael is like, I'm handing over the sword because I'm not going to be Michael for too much longer. I'm about to be Michelle. And that's why I laughed a little bit when I was like, you would never know that the King of Raphael was the Four of Raphael because the Four of Raphael is coded as a woman. But energy is fluid. We shift and fluctuate between masculine and feminine all the time. and beings that are primordial or primarily energy are just as fluid in that. And so maybe I'm not gonna say that Michael. I don't know. Take them as they resonate, okay, people. Y'all know that. But it's like Michael's not gonna be Michael for much longer, because humanity is gonna be coming to a point where we don't need Michael to be Michael, because we're gonna take our own collective destiny into our own hands instead of letting the world wax worse and worse and worse and just sitting by as systems fall apart. Coming into the age of Aquarius, as people are taking more initiative and autonomy, then things change. Now Michael's open to being maybe what that energy was originally intended to be. But we wouldn't necessarily think of it that way, because people are always like, oh, call on Michael if you need protection. And again, not that, anything is wrong or bad. We lived in the times that we lived in. But times are changing and we need to as well. And Raphael could be the same. But it's like when an energy like that changes anything, it becomes an entirely new energy. All right. I'm not necessarily. I don't have a specific card in here on my mind. Oh, that's hoops. Hoops. That's way too. Y'all see, I'm looking at it. I ain't doing all that. But this one is interesting. Where form and function align, the power of words to brighten and terraform. This. Oh, look, the Two of Hearts and the Two of Raphael came out early, or it was on like the top or the bottom of the deck or whatever. Excuse me. Being between worlds, a vision brought to life, choices that require foresight and communication. That to me reflects sort of the energy that was on the table before. So I'll put it there. Because I was like, it's about us learning to live in the archway, being in between worlds. So this card, an internal truth burning to be seen, the yin side of masculinity, a thrusty yet elegant dance. I love the yin side of masculine energy, the feminine side of masculine energy. I was just talking about how I said I don't, at least consciously, know the yin side of Raphael or Michael energy. Whereas like Ariel and Uriel kind of sort of have that play between them, and Gabriel or Gabriel, right, can either be, sometimes Gabriel's depicted as a man, sometimes Gabriel's depicted as a woman. Sometimes Uriel is Uriel or Uriel. Even in I think in the energy oracle cards, it's still spelled Uriel, because they have Ariel for second chakra, Uriel for the seventh chakra, but in the book it says she. So Uriel is one that has been like feminine or masculine depending. But it's like Raphael is always a man, Michael is always a woman. But here's the yin side of masculinity right there. And an internal truth burning to be seen. Bottom of the deck is a complete restructuring of home, a breathtaking sight that redefines beauty and allowing one's soul to breathe. Allowing one's soul to breathe, it's carrying an energy of like us coming into the fullness of who we are, because we're not so quick to put someone else over us or to pit someone else against us. So that's what I got over here. This is pretty interesting. Take it as it resonates. Feminine, masculine, could be people, could not be people, could be you and you, could be you exploring your feminine side if you've been primarily masculine, or it could be you exploring your masculine side if you've been primarily feminine. It was about a year ago, a little over a year ago, where it's like I feel like I switched back from like a masculine dominant energy to a feminine dominant energy. And then I had my little Kali moment over the summer. It's fine. Because I was like feminine for a minute. And then I was like, oh, snap, masculine. And then I just gravitated naturally back towards feminine. And I remember talking to one of my friends, and they were like, "Oh, that's funny because I feel like I'm more in my masculine energy." But also, it's about being in between worlds. It's about being both. And oh, that's what I was gonna do. That's what I was gonna do. Okay, because I was like, it's almost like some kind of like fusion evolution. I've been watching a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh because the channel is on my TV, and like I don't necessarily care for it, but when I'm watching it, I get hooked, and I don't want to stop because they always leave the episodes on a cliffhanger, right? But I was gonna use these and do like some kind of like rookie champion ultra or mega excuse me thing, kind of sort of like Digimon, or that's the thought that came to my head. And it was like this angel digivolve into that angel, and like in Digimon and Pokemon, sometimes in the evolutionary line there are like leaps and jumps, and it's like, how do you get one of these from the other? Like, in what world is that? Like, I feel like we missed a few steps of evolution. But it also reminds me yesterday when the idea of like how we cling to continuity impacts and affects the world that we kind of sort of live in. It influences the speed of that which we manifest. And also, speaking of continuity, I talked about dreams. I believe on the Legacy channel, and how like when you go to sleep and you wake up in a dream, you just sort of accept it. And when you wake up, it's like your body and your mind just accepts that you're awake. It accepts the state that you wake up in. Because I remember it was a few days ago when it was cold, and like I didn't move, I didn't get out of the covers at all. But it's like as soon as I'm awake, my body is freezing. But like I was sleeping this whole time, not cold at all. Like hello. If the body is cold, the body should be cold regardless. So if cold doesn't live in the body, then where does it live? I'm sorry. In the consciousness. And when you're asleep, then you accept it. Oh, snap. I don't want to be no Cinderella sitting in a dark, cold, dusty cellar, but she ain't sitting in a dark, cold, dusty cellar. Is she? She's like, I've built my mansion, baby. Where you at? And he like, girl, I'm on my way. It took me a while. I'm riding in on my white horse of peace. And she's like, okay, because like I'm ready. Ready to go. Na, 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 na. From the rooftop, shout it out. Baby, I'm ready to go. That song popped into my mind the other day. I'm doing a little better. I'm doing much better every day. I'm doing better every day. Speaking of, I don't know why people hate on Caillou. I actually enjoyed Caillou, even though I wasn't in its target audience when I started watching it. Growing up is not so tough. Each day I grow enough. Something, something, blah, blah, blah. Caillou. Right? That's because people hate growth. People hate growth. That's why people hate on Caillou. And because Caillou was like, it ain't so tough. Each day I grow enough. You grow enough day by day. But he like, F a Caillou. What he mean? Life is pain. I'm sorry. Y'all can tell I'm starting to maybe have a little bit too much fun. But I really didn't hate Caillou. I don't understand. And I remember there was an episode where he went over his friend's house, one of his friend's house, and she was Asian. And they were using chopsticks, and he was like, I don't know how to use chopsticks. And going back to each day I grow enough, growing up is not so tough. Watch me, I'm gonna make a whole Caillou spread. Growing up ain't so tough. Each day I grow enough, and then there's something, something, blah, blah, blah. Caillou. Maybe. I do stuff like that sometimes. I think I might. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. Hold up, y'all. I gotta put this in my phone before I forget. But he didn't know how to use chopsticks. And they were like, well, we can get you a fork, Caillou, if you want. And he was like, no, I want to learn. And so he learned how to use chopsticks because, with practice makes perfect, right? And then he picked up a pea with the chopsticks. And I'm like, whoa, you picked up a pea with chopsticks? That's difficult even for me. And he was like, oh, because he's Caillou, Um, I thought I already had a thing. Excuse me. That's one of them that I remember. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I understand now. Kai. One second. All right. I'm gonna make that later. Oh. Let's see what's at the top as I put these away. Oh, okay. Stripped bare, a game of charades, a day with no mirrors. Bottom of the deck, maximizing or minimizing limitation or support. Look to the root, because the root will tell you whether you're growing or dying. And the root will tell you whether you're growing or dying, because if the root is dying, the plant's going to die. If the root is healthy, at least on the ground level. Now, if the external environment is what it is, it could still die even if the roots are healthy. But as long as the roots are healthy, it'll continue to support that plant. It'll hold it through the winter, or it'll hold it through when those conditions aren't great. But if the roots are dying, it doesn't matter what the external world doesn't matter if the inside is dead. A Day with No Mirrors is interesting because I was just watching Yu-Gi-Oh. Not just watching Yu-Gi-Oh, but like I said, I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh because it's on the TV and I ain't changed the channel. And there was this one monster. He was gonna win the duel because he had a mirror card, and so I guess it's Zexal. I don't know anything about it. But apparently I watched enough to know that only a numbered monster can destroy a numbered monster. And so, excuse me, the one person is utilizing that fact to punish the person with the numbered monster because he keeps beating up his numbered monster with his non-numbered monster. So the other dude is continually taking damage. But in the mirror card, what it does is whenever a monster attacks, it sets their attack power equal to each other. So it was supposed to be like a mutually assured destruction type of thing. But since his monster wasn't a mirrored monster, or since it wasn't a numbered monster, the other person who would play the trap would still have his monster and then he can end the game. And the one dude was like, "Oh, you thought I used this card to negate your face down card." And he was like, "Whoa, snap," because he thought he was about to win. He was like, "Come on, it ain't gonna be that easy." And he attacked him again. And so the Day with No Mirrors is interesting because he didn't get to play that mirror trap card because it destroyed it before he could even use it. No, it didn't destroy it. He actually summoned Cerberus, which was interesting. It was a Cerberus type monster. Cerberus holds the energy of the gates of death, or of Hades specifically. Talking about gateways and hell. I talked about that earlier. I don't know where hell is on here. I don't know the rune for it. Maybe it's this one. Let's call it that one. Sure, why not? And he was like, when I let my Cerberus off of the leash, your trap card is leashed. And then that's why he couldn't activate the mirror. And it also reminds me of when the Deguchi in the dream world, where they made the dreamer think of an exit because they were trapped in a dream world. So they made the dreamer think of an exit. And as soon as she thought of the exit, then it popped up. A whole bunch of exits. That's why they kept saying exit. But before they could leave, she chained them up. And so I think with the mirror being chained and with the exits being changed, I mentioned it earlier, it's like we're no longer shifting the blame. It's no longer like, oh, I'm mirroring you, I'm mirroring you, you're mirroring me. I'm not going to take responsibility for this because, we're mirroring each other or blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, no, all that mess stops. To continue on that path is to be in chains. That's a very Eight of Swords type of energy. And it's Eight of Swords not because you don't see it, but because you're doing it to yourself. by not acknowledging the things within yourself that you can acknowledge, and coming into all that you can coming into yourself rather than coming into some unionized energy. And for the people who that's for, it's for them. If it's for you, it's for you. I'm not going to tell you anything. I know that that's not for me. I am my own person, and I am very much so interested in attracting someone who is also their own person, because one Patrick is enough for this world. And we can be similar, but like us not being exactly the same, I actually find that I actually like that, because now I get to, I don't know, experience new things. I get to expand my interests and grow. And maybe I like some of the stuff, maybe I won't like some of the stuff. But I'm more of an experience with a person type of person anyway. So I'll always enjoy the experience. Most of the time. Well, I ain't going to say always. So rookie level. This is going to be real quick because I've already been on for a minute. Champion. And then Ultra Combo. Y'all ever played Killer Instinct? Bottom of the deck is Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy. He made an appearance yesterday. So the rookie level is Uriel, Angel of Flame. Uriel, Angel of Flame, Flame of God. I feel like this is rookie level because it's not established within itself. Going back to not being a mirror of something else, being your own individual type of energy. It's like when you're mostly concerned with what someone else would do or how someone else would do something, even if that someone else is like Jesus, WWJD. For a lot of people, I don't know if WWJD necessarily worked. It was cute, but I don't know how effective it was. Maybe in the moment it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't at all. And it was good to have that reminder. But it's also important to know that you are you, and your journey will be your journey, and not everything that he did is necessarily for you to do. I think a lot of people actually believe that, because if you look at what Jesus would do and what some of the people who claim to follow Jesus are doing, they are different. So congratulations, you're not. Let me stop. I'm sorry. That was completely unnecessary, but true. Because in that it takes away from us being us. Like we were created as we were created to be us, right? Not to be mean and spiteful and nasty or rude or to live in our shadow or whatever, but to be a better, higher, more elevated, more pure us. And some people may be purely not that great. And for them, they have a role just like we do. You can play your role wherever you want to play your role, and I will play my role not near you because I'm mirroring that garbage. And it's only garbage because it's not for me. For you, if that's your treasure, they say one man's trash, right? But Uriel, it's coming in as this heavy energy of like trying to hold the image of someone else or maintain the image of someone else, trying to be somebody else. So we're evolving this, digivolving to champion level, and it's Bina, knowledge. It's not wisdom, but I think this graduating to this, it's an energy of like to continue to live that way is not wise. It's not wisdom. It's knowledge. Wisdom is applying that knowledge in your way to make it work for you. If you're applying knowledge in a way that works for other people, it will always be knowledge. Right? Like you can know how someone else does something. You can know someone else's approach, but if that doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter how long you continue to mimic. It won't work for you. And that's one of the things that I don't buy into. There's one person who, and again, for the people who it works for, I understand and I recognize that it works for those people. For me, I just ain't that way. But there's someone who I came across, and he was like, if you want to be successful, just look up successful people and do exactly what they do. Or if you want to do this, find someone who's doing it and do exactly what they do. And in my mind, it's like, okay, well, I know I'm not other people, and I've come across enough people who do things in ways that don't work for me. And so I just find my own ways to do things. And that's not to say that I don't take knowledge from them, but I apply it in my way as it resonates for me, because that's how I get the most out of it. That's how I try to find some wisdom in it. Because no matter how many, I guess we're talking about not necessarily Icarus, but it is an Icarus type energy. It's like I can watch fish swim all day, I can watch birds fly all day, I can watch dogs bark all day. But if I'm not physiologically built for that, I'm not going to get the same results. But maybe if I can look at their movements and if I can look at their physiology, then I can see how they move in the way that they move. And I can apply that in some way in my life. And then that, even further, turns into Leliel, Angel of the Night. It's Star Maker. This is the application of that wisdom. This is creating light in the space of dark, utilizing the knowledge from the flame of God. But it's not being God, because we're not. And it's not to be God, because we're not. When you're made in the image of something, or made as a fraction of that something, you have to learn to project that image through your own filters to get you. It's like it was heavily filtered and fragmented to get you to be you. And so if you just continue that straight onward, it's like it's going to continue to be fragmented and heavily filtered. You need to unpack it within yourself to find out how that works for you. And then once you do that, you become one who's able to stand in the middle of darkness, but to carry your own light. I love this. And then the angel of mercy is there, which I think is saying to be gracious with yourself and others. So with that, that was real quick. That's actually what I wanted to do before I started, but I completely forgot. So I'm glad I remembered before I ended this one. But that's where I'm going to leave this. I hope y'all have a good whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make that what you wish to experience your reality, because, you know, if you do it, then something will have to happen eventually, right? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every inaction, there is also equal and opposite inaction. So, there you go. I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all. Bye-bye.